Sekeres Price from Wall Center and a presentation of Audi at downtown Vancouver.
At the corner of Burrard and 2nd, Audi downtown Vancouver.ca. I'm going there tomorrow, and I'm going to take a look at the brand new 2023 Audi Q7. The 22s, though, have a very special deal. Gas cards included with the Q7s, the Q5s. Go check it all out. Audi downtown Vancouver.
Bodog poll question today. We're asking you, should the Canucks rebuild? Yes or no? You can vote at Sekeres and Price on Twitter. Bodog, your choice of free casino games, poker strategies, and sports odds. I usually like teams coming off embarrassing losses to turn around, professional pride and all that. But that Tampa Bay Buccaneers scene, I just don't know if Brady is into it this year, and they're missing a great DB. With Antoine Winfield concussion, he'll miss the game. I'm going to take Baltimore -1.5. On Thursday Night Football on your Bodog line of the day. Here he is, our Monday regular from the Bob McCown podcast, the former executive producer of Hockey Night in Canada, Mr. John Shannon. How you doing, sir?
I am doing spectacular today. It's a beautiful day. It's 23. This is Vancouver weather.
I was going to say.
The weather you guys have been having, yeah.
You know what's incredible, John, is 1 month after the autumn solstice, it turned in a bad way here in Vancouver with lots of rain, and really it actually is fitting given where the hockey team is after 6 games into this season. So let's just start there. Tell me what you're hearing with the Vancouver Canucks and whether or not if any changes are afoot here, or at least, if not in personnel, a change of direction for the season.
Well, I haven't heard anything yet, but let's be honest, this can't continue. I mean, if the measure of the Canucks in the first road trip was the 5 games, something has to happen on this homestand, at least to compel somebody to be interested in the team, particularly the fans. It was funny, Saturday night, you really got a sense that the fan base was willing the team to try to win, but that changed by the third period. And the impatience was there, and I think that impatience will reflect some of the discussions in the front office as well.
Couple things for you that you would know in your chair. Sportsnet showed the jersey that was thrown on the ice being handed into the scorer's box, but never showed the jerseys on the ice. Do you think there was direction from somebody not to show them?
No, it doesn't happen. As much as we like conspiracy theories, Blake, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that quickly. And remember, this is that crew. It's a passionate television crew that lives in Vancouver, works the Canuck games. But they're dialed in on trying to find pucks and trying to find players and trying to find stories. If the sweater's been thrown on the ice away from them, they won't even see it. They're looking through the world through a very small viewfinder. But I can tell you, and actually I went back and asked, we had the same discussion earlier on with another team. And I said, would you guys be instructing broadcasters not to say anything? And the answer is not in the moment, because it just happens so quick.
What do you make of that as a form of protest? Do you think it's effective with decision makers?
It's funny, is it? Here in Toronto, people still remember Wafflegate.
Yep.
They
for whatever that meant.
Yeah, for what? Well, for whatever it meant, the people still remembered it. I think, I feel badly that the person who threw that, $200 sweater on the ice has lost it for life, even though they've probably spent that money on it. So, but it's becomes an emotional time, and protests of any type, I think, can have some effectiveness if they become so large that you can't ignore them anymore. But overall, I would say no.
Jim Rutherford on After Hours and Scott Oak did a very good job at asking him a lot of the relevant questions. John, I'll just put it out there and you tell me your interpretation. He said they had a bad training camp. He mused about maybe they'll have to rebuild, although mentioned how long rebuilds take. And then said, we didn't extend Bruce. We inherited a contract that had an option year for him, and that he wasn't even aware of that until he took over as Canucks president of hockey operations. Put it all together. What is that? A lot
of honesty, a lot of transparency there from Jim Rutherford.
And let's remember back. Let's remember back to end of the regular season, early May, when the discussion came about that June 1st deadline for Bruce to exercise the option. Jimmy would have never done that in a previous administration. He would have never done that in Carolina or in Pittsburgh. So I'm sure that was just a sense of frustration when he heard and saw that how people liked Bruce. At the same time, how the information on a regular basis was getting out there. Jim doesn't tell many things, but when he does, he's very frank. And I think we talked about this last week. When lots of pressure when he was running Pittsburgh to fire Mike Johnston, he was very patient. He was very patient, and I fully suspect the Canucks will be patient in this scenario. But there has to be signs of life in this organization. There has to be signs that the team is playing better. And right now, after the game against the Sabres, there aren't many signs of life, are there?
Are you talking patience with the coach and trades, or just the coach?
My initial thought would be just the coach, but Blake, I might say yes to all of the above.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and let's face it, there's one player that's probably going to face this wrath because of what the start more than anybody, and that's Bo. Bo's the one that's in limbo now with this contract. Mm-hmm. If Jim Rutherford's hinting, or not necessarily hinting, but he's suggesting rebuild at some point, what does that do to the captain who's on the last year of his deal? If they're talking rebuild, what does the JT Miller contract look like now?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That you're right. Bo Horvat's Bo and JT are the two hot spots because Bo needs a contract and JT Miller's got it. But of course, it doesn't kick in with its no trade until the summer. So those are the two interesting guys to watch right now, I think.
I think so too. And the one thing that if you're selling, and this is complete speculation. And one of the things that I really liked about the Miller contract, even when it was extended, was you can tell a team that you're going to have control of this guy for a long time. Mm-hmm. You can so you can actually sell that this isn't a rental, and you can sell that, by the way, as the cap goes up, this price is going to stay the same. And I think that's important for these teams.
Oh, and that quip from the commissioner last week about the cap going up maybe as much as $4.5 million next year is a godsend for them if they're going down that path. John, let me ask you about Jim himself, who you've known. I mean, he's 73 years old. He'll be 74 in February. He was sort of in semi-retirement when they dragged him into this job. He's got 3 cup rings. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. And as he mentioned on Saturday, rebuilds take a while, not to mention this could be a tough market, a high-maintenance ownership group. If they are tearing this thing down, do you think Rutherford's going to want to stick around, or does he just hand it over to Alvin and say, okay, that's that?
I think that he has to know that the ship is going in the right direction before he walks away. I think what Jim is trying to do is put all the pieces in place. I think that, which is why I think that he's so disappointed after the regular season ended last year, that there wasn't very much momentum going into this season from his perspective, and camp wasn't very good from his perspective. So my answer to you is he would not want to leave before it's fixed. That's just not Jim. And your point about Jim being semi-retired, he was never semi-retired.
Wow. Yeah.
Jim was looking, the moment Pittsburgh and he decided to separate, he was looking for his next opportunity. Mm-hmm. He felt he was healthy enough. Of all the people of his age, he took COVID very seriously, which is one of the reasons why he backed off. He didn't travel as much, and he was very concerned about COVID being in his 70s. But I will tell you that he never once thought he wasn't going to get another job.
John, does this Hurricanes game have extra juice for him, or is that 2 stops away, no extra feelings for him?
I don't think there's much there now.
No.
Ronnie Francis isn't there. Pete Carmanos isn't there. I would tell you that a Penguins game probably means more to him now than a Hurricanes game.
Well, that's coming too.
They're Friday. It's the Jim Rutherford Bowl week with the Hurricanes on Monday and the Penguins.
And Ron Francis is cracking.
It is cracking on Thursday down Seattle way. Are they just waiting on Boudreaux to get number win 600? Do you think they move on him after he gets to 600? Like, will he see?
It would be cruel to do it now.
601?
It would be. It would be
Well,
cruel.
it kind of would be. That's one of the
Yeah.
things that struck me over the course of the weekend is maybe this.
I've never heard that. Okay. I honestly, I've never heard that. So it would be wrong for me to suggest that it's pertinent. But I think Rutherford's patience. I can't speak for Alvin's because I don't know him very well. But Rutherford's patience is longer than that. Particularly. I mean, how do you? I mean, look at the defense that they've delivered.
Oh, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I think that plays a part too. I think they understand that they were hamstrung by the cap. They made a couple of bets that didn't work out. I mean, Travis Dermott hasn't played, yet. I mean, there's got to be a time when Quinn Hughes and the defense is healthy and at least gives the blue line a chance to win a game.
Well, and we discussed Saturday, without Quinn Hughes, he's their most indispensable skater. And in fact, Travis Yost of TSN has even more material today at tsn.ca on how indispensable he is to the scoring. So, I mean, you're quite right to saddle him with this defense to begin with, but then having Hughes miss a game is a huge deal. John, they'll be dressing their 10th defenseman tonight.
Already.
Seventh game.
And Dermott hasn't even played a game, so we're guaranteed to be 11.
So Dermott will make 11 when he's here.
Yeah. Which I guess kind of reinforces what Jimmy said. They didn't have a good camp.
Oh, is that how you interpreted it? That it was
injury-wise, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Injury-wise and not being able to get the right bodies in place. That's how I looked at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's fair enough because Boudreau's hope was, and he even said to it, guys, what you're going to see at training camp in Whistler on Wednesday or Thursday, whenever they began, is how I'd like to open. And the next thing you know, down goes Besser, down goes Dermott, down goes Mikheyev, and on and on.
And as much as we like to get all over the blue line, team defense hasn't been very good.
That's
I mean, their forwards have not played their part in helping this team be better. Elliott on Saturday night, Elliott, walked into that, swam into that. Maybe Thatcher Demko can be better, but I'm not blaming anything on Thatcher Demko.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen the best out of Demko either, to be fair.
No,
but quite right that the forward group, which had its issues defending in the past, is still got to be part of the solution here.
Well, without using the team name, when an avalanche comes starting down the mountain, it's difficult for one man to stop the snow.
The division is doing the Canucks favors, though, guys. Like, there's
what else is new?
There's two teams in the division that are above 500 right now, so the Canucks might feel like they do have a few games worth of patience here to see how it goes this week.
U.S. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
U.S. Thanksgiving, 24th of November.
Yeah, except for U.S. Thanksgiving last year, John, they were already sewered, so they might.
Well, and look what happened. Mm-hmm. New coach, new manager, new president.
And fell just short because you were too far behind when you started your chase. So let me just ask you the Bodog poll question, and we'll leave it at that. What do you think, John? Do you think they need to rebuild?
Oh no, no. They have enough. They have enough quality working parts to make this work.
So you think you can still retool this on the fly?
On the fly, and get a playoff spot in the West. Absolutely.
Still this year?
Oh, sure. I mean,
right.
Look,
There'll be a lot of people in the market who will need that optimism today, John Shannon. So
no,
thank you for that.
This is where you say it's only 6 games, guys. Mm-hmm. This is where you go and say, I know. I mean, hey, this is a team that was able to have leads. Now they have to learn how to keep them. That's all.
Yep, and they've had leads in each and every game so far, except the one for Saturday, which really was of all the games. I mean, I've watched every game. Of all the games, that was the most disappointing and probably their worst overall. Well, just because they the third period, they were darn good in the second period again. Yeah. And as you say, I think the crowd was hoping to spur them on to a comeback win, and to see how they played the opening minutes of that third period with a goal that wasn't, but sure could have been, by Hinostroza, and then finally a backbreaker from Olofsson. As Bruce was saying about it, that was just so disenchanting, dispiriting. When 2 points were on the line to play like that. Thank you, my friend. You have a wonderful week. We'll catch up next Monday.
Hey, Just one quick thing. My book comes out tomorrow.
Oh, I saw your book. I saw
Yeah.
mention.
Yeah, my book comes out tomorrow. Evolve or Die. The hard. I can't remember the rest. Anyway, Evolve or Die. Hey, every publisher,
Wherever you get your books.
you know this. Every
Yeah.
publisher likes titles, and then we have to have a subtitle.
Subtitle, yeah.
We had more debates over the subtitle than we did any other part of the book.
Evolve or Die, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, got it.
Yeah,
Evolve or
That's right. That's the
Die.
one.
John Shannon, wherever you get your books, out
Starting
tomorrow.
out tomorrow. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we'll spend more time on it as the weeks go on here
Yes, there
and
we
we
go.
get closer to Christmas.
I
John,
hate. I
we
do
had a
hate
big fish
shilling.
to fry.
I do hate shilling, but
That's fine.
What the heck?
We had a big fish to fry. We had Moby Dick on the spit today, so appreciate that, John.
cheers.